The United States of America is currently in its worst drug problem in the history of this nation, which is still under 250 years. And the problem right now is so bad that last year alone, close to 70,000 people overdosed and died. That's not overdoses, that's the people that died. And Ohio, for years running now, has been at the top of that list, the top 3 of that list. They were again this year. And Ohio is currently averaging over 14 people a day dying from overdose from opioids. My name is Eric Fredrickson. I'm 36 years old. I've been clean and sober for over 9 years, coming up on 10 years. I've had the privilege of getting to know God and working with a lot of people in recovery. And I want to introduce you to a young man named Caleb Buckley, who has been through the chaos and the torment of addiction, who has experienced growing up in the church and the turmoil that can go on with that when struggling with addiction, who has come through the other side and is now living in a level of freedom from addiction and back in the church doing some very powerful things inside the church.
I was empty. I found myself with nothing but empty hands. I found myself with a gaping hole the size that I fully believed could not be filled. I reached out for anything and everything and found myself pumping full of drugs. Nobody thought this could happen to a pastor's kid. Nobody thought I would make it out alive. Then I finally found a purpose to live for. I finally found a reason to get sober. My name's Caleb Buckley, and this is my story. I was trying to get away from a serious drug abuse issue that I had back home in the Philadelphia area, and really started that whole issue in high school. And I remember the first time that I tried drugs, and it would have been my sophomore year in high school, and thought really nothing of it until my senior year came around, and my depression and my suicidal thoughts started to kind of hit like a serious wall.
I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and say, this is my options for today. To kill myself, to go find some sort of drugs, or to just try and sleep for 4 days to get rid of this sickness that I'm experiencing right now. I know what that's really like. And I came from darkness to light, and now I'm sitting in a church environment, and there's so much good that goes on in church. There's so much help. It's a wonderful environment where people can encounter God and change. But the lack that I saw was, why are we not going to the broken and the hurting and the lost? There's people dying every single day, especially right here in Ohio. It's over 14 people a day dying from overdose. And that's not the number of people overdosing. And I kept saying, like, why are we not going to the people that are hurting? Why are we not reaching out? And rather than be someone that always wanted to point out the problem, which I did some of that, rather than doing that and staying in that place, I found myself saying, let's go. We would go into all sorts, I went into rehabs, I went into jails and into prisons, and to be able to meet people where they're at with the real reality of the gospel, and to see people come alive and establish a bridge, so to speak. Us going across it first and bringing them back into the church where they can experience the community, they can experience what it's like to be in a family.
I even started going back to church at this time because I saw there was a consistency within the Bible that the Lord has called us to be a part of a church, and I wanted to do anything and everything that took, and so I spent a lot of time praying, a lot of time acting out on small disciplines such as reading the Word, and when I started making those steps towards discipline and towards faith, that was kind of when the Lord met me, and He was like, all right, I love you greatly, and I am more than pleased to see that you're willing to take steps towards me. And this is your way of saying, I believe. And so this is my way of saying, yeah, I'm here. I love you.
So here's a question for you. What does it look like for each one of us to assume some level of ownership and responsibility in this and just begin to love one person? What if each one of us were intentional and said, hey, I know someone I can reach out to that's struggling with depression, addiction, suicide, this problem that is just like a cancer in our land, and we just began to take ownership, each one of us saying, I'm gonna reach out to that one person. I'm gonna go across the bridge. I'm gonna cross this giant chasm they have made in their mind of God is way over there and he wants nothing to do with me. He can't forgive me. I've done this, the guilt and the shame. And we be the people that walk across, meet them where they're at, love them, and walk them back across the bridge into the family of God. Each one of us can be intentional and say, I'm gonna reach out and love that one person. They may shoot you down the first time. They may even call you some names you don't wanna hear. But if we intentionally continue to go back and love them, and love them, and love them, we can literally love the hell out of them and walk them back across that bridge and into the family of God.